But Shotty versus the Niners in general, there's been a lot of success. You know, he's had 3 seasons under Seattle where he was a head coach or the offensive coordinator, and Russell Wilson played some good ball against them. 13 touchdowns, 1 interception, 68% completion, and they were able to win 3 out of those 5 matchups. I think it was one year in 2019. He didn't play 2 games, or 2020. But he is familiar with this team. He knows how to beat this defense. And I think having him in Dak's ear in this game as opposed to the previous regime, I think you'll see a lot more success individually from Dak that we hope obviously rolls over to a team success.
I agree. And when you look at, I went back and I looked at that the last season with Schottenheimer with Russell Wilson, and they put up 30. I think they put up 26 once, 28, and then I put up 30 against them in that year in 2021. I think one was a playoff game. I'm not sure. I know one was in January. I know that, but I'm just not sure which whether it was a postseason game or not. But I know they collectively scored on average 28 points against this defense. Now it's not the same exact defense. Obviously, they have personnel changes. Hargrove is here. Ufunga, I think, is coming into his own now. He's starting to really, play a lot better than he was in 2021. But at the end of the day, you still see, as he said, they don't change very much. It's a similar 4-3 attacking scheme to what we just saw against the Jets. And no, they don't have the same lack of firepower on offense like the Jets do. But if you just look at the one game where the defense didn't hand us a 14-point lead, where the offense was able to actually put up an honest 30 points. And that's 30 points while, like you say, we're struggling in the red zone. So against a similar style defense, like Salah comes from the 49ers and they run the same exact scheme. And it's, like you said, very patient. They rely a lot on their vision, driving back into those zones. But just like the last game we just broke down against New England, they give up a lot of space underneath to those running backs. And Schottenheimer has a history for loving, as you know, to throw to those running backs. So I think, they'll have a big game in the backfield. Rico, I don't know if we'll get Deuce involved, but they seem to struggle against screen passes as well because of their ability to get back, fast. Because you'll see Fred Warner or Greenlaw mugging the line of scrimmage, and then post snap they're flying 15 yards off the ball. Because of that, you can't run in no matter how fast your defense is, you can't go in 2 directions, at the same time. So it leaves all this space for your running backs underneath to work on those block and releases and those those types of arrow routes, stuff like that. That stuff is all wide open. Screen passes, wide open.
I mean, great segue, because Schottenheimer was asked about that, about the vision defense, and he harkened back to a play that happened in the Patriots game that we might see a combination of it. I got a couple plays I want to show y'all that I hope we utilize this. But he harkened back to a play against the Patriots that exactly what you said. Hey, the deep route's not there. Check it down. And that's all. That's what this offense is, man. Like the feet is tied. I'm sorry, the timing is tied to the feet, and the feet is tied to the brain. So we're not having to hold the ball for 15 seconds. If it's not there deep, we still can get 6 to 8 yards on the check down. And now let's try to run it. So here's Schottenheimer talking about that vision defense.
He's seeing it well. Again, it's not just him. Again, we talked a little bit last week about the spacing and the landmarks and getting pieces to where they're supposed to be, whether it's inside edge of the numbers or in between the hashes or outside the numbers, all those landmarks. That's what comes into play. But taking what they give you, throwing the ball underneath. I mean, basically they were playing a version of that vision defense on the 3rd down conversion that I was talking about with Fergie, taking the first open receiver, throwing the completion, letting it work. But, you watched that game yesterday, and there was a little play pass we ran early late in the first quarter, and they all punched out, right? They got deep, and they were trying to take away Brandon Cooks and CD. We were running a little 2-man combination with those 2 guys, and he checked it down. To Rico. Rico splits 2 defenders, gets a couple extra yards. First play of the game, same type thing. Play action pass, the linebackers punch out, they get their depth. Got vision on Dak. What's he do? Hey, he says, hey, they're taking away. Let me check it down. Tony does the same type thing. So that's when I think you see a quarterback who's bought into the fact of, hey, go through my progression, know where the backs are.